Those of you present are the immediate audience for my broadcast, but I'm also speaking by radio and television to people throughout the world.
Nowadays, stories and pictures from all over the world can be gathered up and appear in print within hours. We have indeed become a global village. It is no longer possible to plead ignorance about what is going on in far-off parts of the world. Switch on the radio or television, and the graphic details of distant events are instantly available to us. Governments can encourage and support, but it is the volunteers who work away for nothing in administration or spend their weekends seeing fair play who make sport and physical recreation so worthwhile. This sort of positive team spirit can benefit communities, companies and enterprises of all kinds. Success in industry and commerce, for instance, creates the wealth that provides so many of the things that make life happier and more comfortable. The future is not only about new gadgets, modern technology, or the latest fashion, important as these may be. At the center of all our lives, today and tomorrow, must be the message of caring for others, the message at the heart of Christianity and all the great religions. All the great religious teachings of the world press home the message that everyone has a responsibility to care for the vulnerable. Fortunately, there are many groups and individuals, often unsung and unrewarded, who are dedicated to ensuring that the outsiders are given a chance to be recognized and respected. We, the peoples of the 50 nations of the Commonwealth, more than a quarter of the world's population, have as members of one of the largest families a great responsibility. By working together, we can help the rest of the world become a more humane and happier place. In this past year, my family and I have been inspired by the courage and hope we have seen in so many ways in Britain, in the Commonwealth, and around the world. There have been storms and droughts, as well as epidemics and famine. And this country has not been spared, with the floods this time last year, and foot and mouth, which has had such devastating consequences for our farmers and rural communities. Next February will see the 40th anniversary of my father's death and of my accession. Over the years, I have tried to follow my father's example and to serve you as best I can. In a different way, I felt that the Golden Jubilee was more than just an anniversary. The importance of family has, of course, come home to Prince Philip and me personally this year, with the marriages of two of our grandchildren, each in their own way a celebration of the God-given love that binds a family together. As a daughter, a mother, and a grandmother, I often find myself seeking advice or being asked for it in all three capacities.
Quite a lot of you have written to me during the last year or so, saying how worried you are about the future of our planet.
I cannot lead you into battle. I do not give you laws or administer justice. But I can do something else. I can give you my heart and my devotion to these old islands and to all the peoples of our brotherhood of nations.
The happy arrival of our fourth grandchild gave great cause for family celebrations. In Northern Ireland, peace is gradually taking root. A fully democratic South Africa has been welcomed back into the Commonwealth. And in the Middle East, long-standing enmities are healing. The terrorist outrages in the United States last September brought home to us the pain and grief of ordinary people the world over, who find themselves innocently caught up in such evil.
You've all seen pictures of the Earth taken from space. Unlike all the other planets in the solar system, Earth shimmers green and blue in the sunlight and looks a very pleasant place to live.
That it's possible for some of you to see me today is just another example of the speed at which things are changing all around us.
This December, we are looking back not just 1 year, but on 100 years and 1,000 years. History is measured in centuries. More than ever, we are aware of being a tiny part of the infinite sweep of time when we move from one century and one millennium to another. People are touched by events which have their roots far across the world. Whether it is the global economy or violence in a distant land, the effects can be keenly felt at home. Once again, many of our servicemen and women are serving on operations in common cause to bring peace and security to troubled places. The servicemen in the Gulf who are spending Christmas at their posts under this threat are much in our thoughts. All this year, we seem to have had nothing but bad news, with a constant stream of reports of plane crashes, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and famine. And as if natural disasters were not enough, we hear of riots, wars, acts of terrorism, and generally of man's inhumanity to man. We all felt the shock and sorrow of Diana's death. My family, for instance, has been celebrating my mother's 90th birthday. And we have shared with you the joy of some of those celebrations. My youngest grandchild's christening 2 days ago has brought the family together once again. I hope that all of us lucky enough to be able to enjoy such gatherings this Christmas will take time to count our blessings. Many of you will know only too well from your own experience the grief that follows the death of a much-loved mother or sister. Mine were very much part of my life and always gave me their support and encouragement. Winston Churchill, my first Prime Minister, said that the further backward you look, the further forward you can see. In 1989, the Berlin Wall came down. At my mother's 99th birthday last August, I was struck how the inevitability of change affects us all, and how different were my mother's early years compared with those of my grandchildren.